Hello, everyone. I'm Veronica Vega with Open My Heart, Lord Ministries. Are you experiencing any worry, anxiety, or dread about the upcoming holidays? In today's video, I'll share 7 ways on how to make Advent, Christmas, and the holiday season filled with more joy, love, and peace. And in addition, I have a bonus section on some practical tips and solutions to common problems and issues that we face during the holiday season. Now note, there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be packed into this video, and so I have a couple of do's and don'ts. The first do is to just choose one, and it could be something really easy or something that you think is the most urgent right now. The second is to remember that we are called to love. And that means to will the good of another. Doesn't mean we have to like someone, but it does mean that we're called to will their good. And the third is to keep our focus on Jesus first, because he's the reason for the season as we celebrate the anniversary of his birth and prepare for the second coming. Now, the big don't is don't let yourself get overwhelmed. There's a lot of information, and quite frankly, you don't have to do anything this season. I know we're really close, so don't worry if it's something that you aren't up to doing. But keep in mind that there's going to be another Christmas, another Christmas Eve next year. So you do have time to prepare for the next year as well. Let's get started. Here are the 7 ways to deal with the issues and problems that we're facing that are causing us worry, fear, dread, anxiety, and so on. Starting off the bat, number 1 is invite Christ in. So important to always begin and end with him, and so we start there. I have another video that I'll link at the end if you want more detail. But here we'll focus on just the 3 things. To pray, that means you need to be in relationship with them. Praying, asking for help, petitioning, asking for intercessions for that person if you're struggling with somebody, but also be willing to listen. The second is to read his word, because that's another way that he can speak to you and show you the way. And then the third is to attend the holy sacrifice of the Mass. If there's nothing else that you do as a result of this video, plan on when you are going to go to the holy sacrifice of the Mass. The second is to give yourself and others the grace and mercy. We're all facing a lot of craziness. Oh my goodness, it's been one crazy holiday for me too. But just be willing to give that grace and mercy to yourself and to others. The third is prepare, prepare, prepare. I'm a huge proponent of preparation. I'm going to read you a Bible passage that I think is really important. Which of you wishing to construct a tower does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if there is enough for its completion? That comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 14, verse 28. So we need to know what is going to be involved for the decisions that we're making. Don't just make it and go for it. You want to think about what's going to be involved. And I know this Bible passage has to do with about building, but it's no different when we're getting ready to make a decision. So keep in mind, any Bible passages that I share, I will put in the notes of this video. Now, does that mean if you prepare, that everything will work out? Not necessarily. But if you're fully prepared, then one of the things that will be helpful is that when other things come up, it'll be much easier to handle it. But if you have the expectation that, okay, if I prepare, everything is going to go perfectly, then again, you'll probably be disappointed. And know that that can also lead to chaos and stress. All right, number 4, be willing to set expectations ahead of time. Know that other people can't read your mind. So it's important to be able to speak to them and communicate and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling right now. I'm concerned about this. Be willing to communicate. And don't get mad because other people can't read your mind. God sets expectations for us all the time throughout the Bible and his word. He's always sharing all his expectations of us. First of all, just for us to know that we're loved. But what he calls us to do is to also love. And we're called to love him above all and love our neighbor as ourselves. In fact, we can expand that a little and look at the 10 commandments. The first 3 commandments are about loving God, and the next 7 are about loving our neighbor. So you can see right in those 2 areas how God also sets expectations. The next is to set boundaries of yes and no. If you are just trying to please everybody, you're not going to please anyone. So it's important to be able to set those boundaries of yes and no. I love the Bible passage. Let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. Anything else is from the evil one. That comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 37. The 6th way is to know that everything passes. December 26th is going to be here in a few days. And then the next Christmas will come, or the next holiday. So just know that everything passes. One of my favorite things to read is from St. Teresa of Avila, or also called St. Teresa of Jesus. She says, "Let nothing trouble you. Let nothing frighten you. Everything passes. God never changes. Patience obtains all. Whoever has God wants for nothing. God alone is enough." That's also listed in paragraph 227 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. The 7th way is to know that our worth comes from God. We spend sometimes so much time and energy and effort on stressing about a particular event, or the anticipation and stress of seeing someone that we just don't get along with, and allowing them or that particular event to dictate our joy and our peace in the holidays. Remember that God says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." That comes from the book of the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Know that you were created in love, and that each of you is a beloved son or a beloved daughter of the Most High God. That is where our worth comes from. And how much God loved us, he sent his son to save us. That is where the focus should be, not on an event or not on a particular person. So those are the 7 ways. Invite Christ in, give yourself and others the grace and mercy, prepare, set expectations ahead of time, set boundaries of yes and no, know that everything passes, and know that your worth comes from God. Now the bonus, we're going to get some tips and solutions on how to handle some of the common issues and problems we face during the holidays. Number 1 is strained and annoying relationships. I think we all have had those somewhere along the way. Now, if it's possible, speak with that person ahead of time, or you may need to speak with the host and see if there's a way to resolve it before you go. If it's not, and it's not the time to do it, then hold off. It's something that you can work on, and until next year. You'll get, I'm sure, another opportunity next year or at the next event. All right, don't engage in an argument. I say when you walk in and you see them, if you can give them a hug and say hello, or just say hello. And if you just need to move on, but do it genuinely and with a good heart. Don't engage in an argument. Arguments take 2 people to be involved. So if one person wants to argue, you don't have to engage with them. If they're trying to debate, you everything just like interrupt it. Say, hold on, and then go to the bathroom, or go attend to your kids if you have kids, or say, I need to check on the food, and then literally go do that. Go do one of those things. And when they come back, if they want to continue, say, look, you know what? I'd really love to get this resolved, but not here and today. Let's schedule a date and time after the holidays, if you're willing to do that. Then another thing is to maybe limit the time frame for the visit. If it's too much to handle, we really think about it and you do the math on the percentage of time that you're going to have to spend at this particular event. Maybe you say, okay, we're only going to stay an hour, or we're only going to stay a couple of hours, or 3 or 4. If you do the math on the amount of time compared to the rest of the year, it's not even close to 1%. So just keep that in mind. Or another option is you don't go, and you can give yourself that freedom to do that. Just know that there's always some, just have to be prepared. Just know that you're going to need to be prepared for anything that comes with that. All right. Next is the pressure to attend. And that happens every year, especially in our families. They want us to be there. They really want us to participate and be in the different events, but sometimes it can be too much. So I would encourage you as a family. Now, if you're by yourself, then you go over and you review and you say, okay, what is most important? And why do I want to go or not go? And decide, and then remain firm with that. If you have a family, then speak to your family and figure out what you want to do. Next, speak to the host, communicate with them and be clear about what you want, what you're going to do or not do. And if you are a host for an event, please, please, please give others the ability and the opportunity to say yes and no. You want people who want to be at your particular event. Don't put that kind of pressure on somebody to attend. You don't know everything that's going on in their life, and they may need to say no. All right, again, communicating and setting the expectations ahead of time with the host and others. Now, when somebody asks you if you want to attend, sincerely thank them. Say, thank you so much for inviting me. Let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. Or if you need to speak with your family, let me speak with my family and then I'll get back to you. When do you need a response? And then follow up with that. Now, if the answer is yes, you thank them again and we'll be there. What can we bring? If it's a no, politely decline. You don't necessarily have to give a reason. I know some people want to know, well, why aren't you coming? And you can decide yes or no, however you want to handle it. Don't lie though, because then you're going to have to go to confession. So don't lie. All right. So again, you can just say, thank you so much for the invitation. We won't be able to attend, or I won't be able to attend. Now, you can add on at the end if you'd like, but I would really love to spend time with you. Could we set a different date and time? But only do that if you want to, okay? So that's the pressure to attend. Next, loneliness. And that's something that really affects a lot of people. Maybe they don't have family nearby. And so what I would encourage you to do, again, that planning ahead, and that's going to be really important to just decide what you want to do. So think about what you'd like, and you can do things like inviting others to your home if you like, other friends or some other people that you know don't have a place to go. Decide what you want to cook. You'll get to pick all of the items. If you don't want to cook, don't know how to cook, buy the food. Make it easy for yourself. Can also, if you don't have people that you are going to invite over, there are some restaurants that are open. Schedule where you want to go and eat. Make a reservation. Have a wonderful dinner, ordering all the things that you would love to eat. And then you can also make at least one thankful call or text to somebody for the holiday. Maybe that's going to be something important for them to hear. And then the last thing is to volunteer. And, at that time, there's other people that may need something during that time. Next, too busy. Yes, we're all plagued with that throughout the year. So ask for help and be willing to receive it. A lot of times we will ask for help, but then we want to dictate every detail down to the nth degree. And then everybody's like, forget it. I don't want to do it. I mean, it could be like, can you bring ice? And then you tell them, well, I need you to go to this store and get this kind of ice and blah, blah, blah. Just say, okay, we need at least 10 pounds of ice. Can you bring that? And leave it at that. Let them pick the ice they want to get. If it's not the perfect ice, it's okay. It'll be all right. Okay, set a limit on the amount of get-togethers that you want to attend. There are so many times and opportunities. People are inviting you to different events. Don't feel like you have to attend everything. Set a limit, no upfront, so that you are able to keep your peace during this time. All right, again, setting a minimum time frame to visit. Buy food instead of making it. It's okay. Or volunteer for something that you can just purchase, that you don't have to spend tons of time making. And don't host the event. Now, I don't encourage you to cancel on Christmas Eve and say, hey, we're not going to meet on Christmas Day after all. That's a lot. People are already planning to go. And so, sacrifice, make the sacrifice for that. And then maybe next year say, you know what, I'm not going to host next year, and offer it up so it can be done with plenty of time. And a couple of other things, alternate holidays. I can't tell you how many times and for how many years we would go to Mass on Christmas Eve, then go to my family's house, and then we might go out of town to my husband's family house, or the next morning, and then we'd get up and do our own little Christmas, and then go to my husband's family house, and then we would come back the same day. I was exhausted, and it wasn't even fun or joyful. So think about alternating holidays. The other opportunity is to celebrate on a different day. The most important thing is to celebrate the birth of Christ, making sure you're going to Mass. But if if it's too much, talk to your family members. Hey, can we get together on a different day? And if they don't want to, that's okay. But if that's what you need to do, then do it. Next, financial stress. I would encourage you to set spending limits on gifts and events. Communicate ahead of time with people, because people already have expectations. Oh, we do this, we do that. And just communicate the expectations. Hey, we're not going to be able to do gifts this year, or we're going to do a family gift, or only gifts for children, draw names, things like that. You can give handwritten notes. Again, do a family gift, a homemade gift. And then also, if you are not nearby family, take the time to save for the trip throughout the year. And if they aren't planning on having an event, then you've saved all that money. You can go and spend it on your regular Christmas gifts or do something different. And then the last thing is to know that your value doesn't come from the cost of a gift you receive or the gift that you give. That's not where our value comes from. It comes from God. Next, grief and sorrow. In the last couple of years, I have a number of people that I know that have lost loved ones very tragically, or just have lost loved ones, or they're really going through a very difficult time. And so what I would encourage you to do is to, again, decide how you want to spend the holidays. Surround yourself with loved ones. If you want to keep your old traditions, keep your old traditions. If you want to start new ones, start new ones. Just do what you can. Don't have this expectation that you have to do everything exactly the way it was before. Be willing to communicate your feelings. Tell others, you know what, this is just too much for me this year. I may just come in, do a quick stopover and go, but just know I'll know when I get there. But, just let them know. Again, that communication part. And you can volunteer to help others. Sometimes helping someone else brings us out of how we're feeling and helps us to feel better. And then also, don't be willing to attend a support group. Sometimes it can be very helpful. And again, I know there could be many more categories of issues and problems, but the last one I have is excess, and that could be food or drink. And so make sure you do something like take a healthier main dish or side dish, or both if you need to, because there's nothing else that's going to be healthy there. You can also work out before and after the event. Have an accountability partner that's going to be there. Or even if they're not, text each other during this, like, how are you doing? Are you making it? Are you doing okay? And then set limits on servings. It can be really difficult, especially with alcohol and then even food. I mean, boy, it's hard. So keep that in mind. Okay, those are your practical tips and solutions. So now I have shared 7 ways to help you find more joy, love, and peace during Advent, Christmas, and the holiday season, and also some practical tips and solutions to common problems in the Christmas holiday. Remember to keep Jesus first, to love one another, and know above all that everything passes. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon and share this video with at least 2 people you know and care about. I pray that you have just a wonderful holiday filled with peace, love, and joy. Merry Christmas.